Thank you, Mr. McKenzie. Welcome, everybody. The Columbus Academy's 97th graduating class, my class, our class, has left an indelible imprint on the nest it's leaving. We've had the most national merit semifinalists and finalists. The school had to create a new math class for us, state championships galore, including our first ever in band, challenging OSU's for best damn band in the land. Gold Keys, Governor Shows, Guitar Yell and Mustache Village, the Roller Coaster Cheer, and the best leadership Student Council and Service Board has ever had. Countless adults around the Academy, from faculty and administration to coaches and parents, have commented that leadership comes from the senior class. It is no coincidence that this year has seen so much success. Thank you to the Academy, the community responsible for my fondest memories and greatest support. You have opened many doors, but you will always be my home. Academy community, from school and faculty to parents and students, have given me ample opportunity and availed much. I'm thankful to receive a diploma from this great launchpad, but even more thankful to receive it with this great group of peers. I've been selected to speak to and for my class, and so I want to recount the perspective that had been given to me recently. So peers, bear with me today as I give you one last speech about responsibility. But first, I'd like to tell you a true story. Ever since Anthony finally got me hooked, I've been a huge country music fan. And on June 2nd, during my senior project, I had the greatest day of my life. Taylor Swift came to the building where I was working in the Walter Reed Army Medical Center. When her visit was announced, some of my new friends said they thought I was going to faint. The people in charge told me she would be upstairs at 1300. I skipped lunch and made sure to brush my hair because I knew she was going to brush hers for me. I was one of the first to see her, and I was absolutely starstruck. She was 1,000 times prettier in person, and she seemed so genuine, sweet, and delightful. But I couldn't tell if that was her Hollywood persona or if she was still humbled after the whole Kanye thing. Well, as usual, I was calm, cool, and collected as I took the Sharpie from her hand and signed her sundress, Kym Littlefield, with my number directly below it. She smiled, called me cute, threw her arms around me, and gave me her number. Okay, what actually happened was, I cowered in fear, sweated like a pig, and stuttered over my words. It really wasn't a good showing for me. But she did sign my shirt and call me cute. On that day, I enjoyed an ephemeral pleasure that will be a lasting memory. That is a true story, and it is important to my point, but I'm going to shift gears and I'll revisit the story later. In the school environment, there exists a social pressure to pursue the fitted mold of success. It is the job of the school and home to encourage an undying pursuit of success. But which definition? The one based on salary, or the one based on as happiness is the forefront? So seniors, why did we go to school here? Did our parents think this gave us the best opportunity to be great? Did you think this gave you the best opportunity to be great? But what if, in the midst of our elitism, we lost sight of the true meaning of success, happiness? Would you be brave enough to beat out your own path to reach happiness? I've heard the criticism of someone who received a top-notch education and later became a sustenance farmer. We criticized, but isn't that the honorable thing? To find your own way? Our class will undoubtedly produce a fair share of doctors and lawyers and business executives, and I'm not dismissing or indicting those people, but make sure you're happy. We criticize because we don't understand. So with vast opportunity, why would he do that? That student found his something, and he is happy. Success is something far more expansive than money, and as pure and intangible as happiness. June 2nd was the greatest day of my life, not because I got to meet Taylor Swift, but because I realized the lessons a patient named Pat Horan was teaching me. I realized that my mental approach going into my project had been all wrong. I wanted to be remembered as the Red Cross volunteer who made a difference, the stud that influenced the lives of these recovering warriors forever. Boy, was I wrong. And it wasn't until later that I realized that my ego went against the fundamental nature of service. And it serves me right that the patient who impacted me most, Pat, couldn't even remember my name. You know who Taylor Swift is. Let me tell you who Pat is. Pat is an Army Ranger who was shot directly in the head during combat. The doctors said it was a miracle that Pat didn't die. They were certain he'd remain in a vegetative state, and they were certainly wrong. Doctors looked at his EKG, brain activity, and his status quantitatively, but they couldn't measure his heart. Pat overcame all odds and didn't stop there. He is relearning how to walk and going to speech classes so he can live a normal life. Pat taught me so much about happiness, both indirectly and directly. Immediately after meeting Taylor Swift, the glow she left still hadn't faded when Pat greeted me with the warmest smile that I had grown so accustomed to. He asked me what I was all giggly about, and I told him I met Taylor Swift. But it wasn't until he asked that I realized I was far more excited to meet Pat Horan every day than I was to meet Taylor Swift. He says to me, I never really get excited to see celebrities because to me, they are just people. Everybody's the same. But Pat was wrong. Everybody isn't the same. If everybody were the same, I'd see the same happiness in the faces of everyone in the hall throughout the day that I saw on Pat's face. We could all follow the Costco's industrial cookie cutter approach to it. But happiness is elusive and indefinable. Yeah, we do endure our fair share of academic torture, but it pales in comparison to Pat's struggles. Pat, who once faced death, told me, people control their own happiness. If Pat could find happiness in the midst of his fight to get back to simple, independent life, why don't we find happiness with all we have? Pat defined the ultimate goal. Seek the means to the end, which is happiness itself. Academy is the land of opportunity, but it cannot be a community that promotes the definition of success as money or the pursuit of money at the cost of happiness. My new friends at Walter Reed were in a perpetual pursuit of happiness. What if somebody lost an arm or leg, vision or hearing, or was physically mutilated? Is it possible to live a happy life after that? So what do I wish for my classmates? I know we are all en route to becoming successful, but will we be happy? Graduation is a natural transition point, making it a natural time to make decisions. But transitions don't have to occur only in formal moments. Any given day can be a transition. Happiness is practical and well within reach. We simply must be strong enough to define ourselves from within rather than looking without. There is no doubt in my mind that this great class of 2010 is capable to move the trend towards happiness and purpose-driven lives. So to my seniors, thank you for sticking through this together, for making this a memorable ride and continuing to ride it until the wheels fall off. Thank you for nurturing a kinship with decency, and thank you for the best senior year any of us could have imagined. You are all my closest friends, so remember the moments we shared together. Jason Aldean once said, "We laughed until we cried." We shared moments and enjoyed losses, triumphs, fun, and all three levels of happiness. We experienced the fleeting moments of happiness from field trips to class trips, the happiness related to engagement on a day-to-day basis in classes and on the sports field, but our substantial and significant happiness came from our common bond. We all seek purpose. We are at a point in our lives where we can value and experience all three. We can appreciate the Taylor Swift moments, but we can't live off of them. The food of life is the substantial happiness we get from being a part of something greater than ourselves, from feeling purpose, and we control our purpose. And like Pat said, we control our happiness. As of today, we're assuming responsibility of our own happiness as we go out into the world and leave it better than we found it. In closing, I'd like to share a story. On the last day of our senior year, we hung out with our kindergarten buddies and made some of the most quality memories of high school. I felt the same way as all of my classmates when I couldn't just leave my buddy. I tried to schedule one more time to hang out with him before school ended, so I asked Russell what time recess was. Russell then said these words that changed my perspective: "I never really look at the clock during recess." Although he put it simply, Russell Ahmed taught me how to have fun again. So as I think of the driving message to relay to the underclassmen and my great seniors, I pass on these words of advice from a child at the age that knows the nature of fun best. Go with the flow, let your guard down, and have so much fun you lose track of time. Thank you.